I'm live. Hopefully you are I'm late messing around, doing all kinds of other stuff. Then I couldn't get logged into my account. But I'm here and I want you all to be here with me. Of course, I was like, do I do the show? Do I cancel? I was like, you know what? I'm going to get who I get. And so I'm gonna give people some time to log in and get on here since I am coming in late. But I'm not going to waste any time because there's something that I really want to say. And I believe that it's important that we do all we can. Of course, I can skip and things of that nature, but I think it's important that we do all we can to be committed to ourselves and be committed to people around us, especially in this era, in this time, this experience, and what we are feeling. Right, I know that everybody's feeling it right now in this, um, in the world, all over the world. We've been feeling it. I don't know when we have not been feeling it and recognize and realize that the world around us, we know it's changing. We could feel it's changing. We know it's changing. And the question is, are we willing to change with it? So as you log on, hopefully you're logging in. I know there's a few people that will log in, but the one thing I do know is that this will be archived and some people will actually get to uh, experience this and hear this what I have to say. Um, there is, of course, I'm in somewhat of a not a major transition, but I'm transitioning in a way of the direction and how I want to be able to present, still bring guests, and still bring some of you guys onto the show. But where do we go next? What do we do next? How do we move next in terms of this in this life? It's it's a consistent, constant thing that we understand the shifts, right? That happen, right? Transitions happen. We move and uh, we can become and do many different things in our lives, but we have to be open and willing to feel and understand the shift. As you come into the space and in the room, just go ahead and I'll make sure I'll look at some of the comments. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get straight to just some things that I wanted to say. Um, One thing really want you to understand and know is that the feeling is the secret. That is a saying that you might hear from Neville Goddard. He's someone that would say that feeling is the secret. And what ultimately that means is that we might be experiencing some things and going through something, but you have to know that you can shift your energy and you may need to shift your energy and you need to be intentional. So what I want to do a little different is I'm gonna got my notes here and it's more of something that's more transformative in terms of like looking at your life and looking at what we have going on in our lives. I have a lot going on in my life. I'm sure you have a lot going on in your life. And how do we move um, with intention? One thing that is kind of unique for myself um, and unique for anyone that's connected to Carlton Pearson, Expanded Consciousness, was a show that I did with him. Uh, we we did that show to I worked with him for a while. 2015 to it was 2000. I've known him since 2008 or 9. Yeah, 2008. Actually physically met him and known him, exchanged numbers in 2008. By 2011, I was in Chicago, um, visiting him, going to his house. We had a really good time talking and, you know, just talking about all sorts of different things. Talking about, really, it was, talking about the expansion of what we are able to witness, what we're able to experience and see as we come out of the dogmatic and the dogma of the church. And so, like, I remember he had some fish that was meatless fish. I think it was meatless fish or meatless chicken one. And it was this guy that was a professor, I guess, in the city of Chicago. And he gave Carlton some meatless fish or chicken or something. I think it was fish, but it was amazing because it really tasted like fish. It was good. And what we had a good time. And it was like, for me, it was a kind of like an experience because it was like we were talking about things outside of things outside of being a vegan, for instance, or a vegetarian or eating less meat. You know, Carlton was thinking about being less, uh, he was being health conscious, and it kind of goes with the spiritual space, the way we were doing it. And that was in 2011. By 2015, 14, Carlton moved back to Tulsa to be with his father. And his father was in transitioning state. Didn't really know that Carlton was going to be in transition. Sort of as soon as he did. But I was working with him and helped him with his show. And, one thing I want to do is dedicate some of this time of expanded consciousness and the things that we experienced together, Carlton and I experienced together. I have experiences with Carlton that are undocumented. I have experiences with Carlton that are um, just he and I in contemplation, asking questions. And tonight, as I um, communicate and talk to you about understanding that the feeling is the secret, right? And how you can shift who you are, or shift the experience that you're having. Yes, we all know that, and it's like in our face every day on the political shift that's happening. Um, it's in our face every day, and for us and a lot of people, one party, even though it's one government, one party particularly represents certain levels of dogma that are in your face. So, I have my wife's. She works for the Y with this shirt that they made, and it says, "Of course, all sizes, all religions, all genders, all beliefs. Yeah, all religions. What was that? All colors. That's what that was. All people, right? Um, I think that's more of it's kind of inclusion, but I think it's just accepting of everyone as people. Everyone is people. And that was one of the things that really touched Carlton. Um, And I think what touched me within Carlton's life and my life, and knowing him intimately, both growing up in Kojic, him having the life he had. Uh, there's a few people that have transitioned in our lives together that we knew together, like Wayman, and but being able to relate in conversation and have a friend that that you just talked to. And what I want you guys to know is the biggest thing right now today is what I want you guys to know is that exploring your energy, right? That means like your thoughts. That means when you get up. That means what you're looking at, right? That means like if you're watching news every day, stop. If you are, you got to recognize and understand and notice that like you can't be around negative energy. You can't be around negative energy. Exploring how energy shapes your personal life but it shapes us, the collective experience. So I want to engage your mind and your heart and inspire you to realize and understand something that the universe does not respond to what we want or even what we think. It really responds to how you feel. So meditation is something that you do in order to raise your energy and vibration. And the thing is when you do a meditation, there's some things that you need to know that's what's going on with you. And sometimes you need to or could go into meditation for the purposes of learning to disassociate, disconnect, right, from what you could be feeling, right? Because if you don't get in practice of disconnecting or from a moment, from a, if you disconnect from the negative feeling, that feeling that you have could be on you and you don't know it's on you, and it could begin to make you sick. It could begin to pull you down. It could begin to take you out of vibration in order to understand that this there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture than what we are seeing, folks. I'm learning things about information, about artificial intelligence, and about how technology and modalities are things that we can do to shift. Um, there's a big shift happening, and you might want to get on the shift train. You might want to understand that it's time to shift. And one of the things that I do and I understand as a modality is understanding, like within meditation, how to disconnect from where you are. You can realize mindfulness realizes the space that you're in, realizing like there's this glass. See, I'm being mindful right now. I want you to be mindful right now. Look around you. Water, H2O, right? Water is a part of the periodic table, right? That we've discovered. Science, right? When you think about spirituality, you don't think about simple things like water. What it provides for us, what it does for us, we have to have it. We use it to make stuff. But being mindful and understanding to be mindful actually can even teach you, wait, I think I need water. I'm mindful. I think I got something going on. Right. So being mindful of your surroundings, I challenge people, um, with this life and Being mindful is one thing that you could begin to do right now. Mindful of your breath. Take a deep breath. Expanding our consciousness, in which where the consciousness is already expanded in the quantum field, right? Parallel universe, right? It's like this is happening somewhere else, but yet though we can shift from what is happening just by actually listening to me and paying attention to me. You're shifting. That's what I'm going to do. I am shifting. I'm shifting a lot. I'm shifting where we're going. This is going to be expanded consciousness is a bona fide community that I'll have the live show on Thursday, but then we'll be doing other things through the week. And then I'm putting everything into the community, but I'm gonna put everything into the Institute of Expanded Consciousness, where we can actually dig deep. We can get into the books and we can get into the deep stuff compared to what everybody else may want to. And I'm not talking about flat earths and all the woo woo. I'm not talking about um, crystals and even metaphysical Bible interpretation. Maybe somebody will be around and they can talk about it and teach it, but I'm really about how do we transition and shift ourselves, shift our timelines. How do we look back and people are having physical results, whether it's losing weight and becoming healthier and becoming financially stable and helping us in this world raise the collective consciousness, and then being able to empower all of us to help move the earth, move the world, the power of feeling, understanding the universal language, right? Feeling, I'm gonna take you somewhere real quick. Mind, body, and emotion. Okay, take some notes for me. Mind, body, and emotion. Let's remove spirit, right, from that equation. Because spirit is something that spirit is something that can be defined, but yet though it's defined individually. And spiritual autonomy is being able to define that. Excuse me. When you are a part of the institution of religion, you don't necessarily get to define spirituality within the sphere or within the connection to mind body, right? Mind, we have psychologists, we can do things to the mind. I was just talking about meditation, right? Meditation is something we do with our mind, but if we get good, we can go into a state where we're using our mind to connect to our spirit, to our essence, right? And then it's telling the mind to quiet, right? And the way we do that, we'll structure the mind and say, mind, we're going to sit here for 30 minutes, mind, and that's going to affect the body. And in those feelings, when you do that, you're going to have emotions. And those emotions is what we're needing to adjust. You're going to go through some things, and you can look at what you're going through, and you can take what you are going through and then make it appear as though that is what you have to go through. I'm here to tell you, through this presidential election, for instance, I'm going to have the most success of my life because I'm removing myself out of the equation. I don't have to include myself in the equation. Although it may affect the things around me, That story of Madam C.J. Walker just hits me, man. Just the fact that she was in that era and in that time, and the fact that she was able to accomplish the thing she was to make a difference. And she made money, but she made a difference in people's life, giving people hair care products, right? Black folks hair care products that weren't able to get hair care products, and she was doing distribution, and she was doing, design and chemistry, and you know how to formulate and how to. That's a spiritual thing. I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the most spiritual things you can do is create something and sell it. One of the most spiritual things you can do is take something out of your mind and bring it into the earth. It's one of the most spiritual things you can do. And it's very powerful, whether you're a good person or a bad person. I want you guys to think about this. I want you guys to think about where you are going or want to be. We're headed to a new year, and I'm shifting this, I'm shifting myself, I'm shifting this thing. And I know there's an element of experiencing, of deconstructing our belief systems, but your belief and going beyond belief is really dealing with your emotions. It's really dealing with discovering who you truly are, right? And then the other thing is not letting the surroundings and the things that you may experience around you, right? Not letting that shift you so drastic. Feeling is not an emotion though. It's a vibration. It's like an electronic signature, you know? It's like electronic signature that the universe responds and gives back what you are feeling. This can shift even your body, your heart rate. It could shift your whole body. If you think of yourself as a tuning fork, have you ever seen a tuning fork? I don't have one around. You can hit a tuning fork, and a tuning fork will make a sound and it will vibrate at a frequency. And that frequency can actually fluctuate and mess with your body. It can fluctuate. It can, it goes, the sound hits your ears, right? And so that that frequency puts off a pitch or a sound or a tone, and it can cause different things to take place. Some frequencies and tones can shatter. It can shatter glass. Your emotions are very important. And that's the reason why it's very important to meditate. It's very important to have mindfulness, but then to go into a meditation, which we may do before I get off here. But look at my notes here. But the vibration fork is a frequency, right? And you can draw frequencies into your life. Energy, frequency, vibration, Tesla, right? You always hear people talk about raise your vibration. The question is how? How do you raise your vibration? Get on YouTube one day and type that in. There'll be a lot of people talking about how to raise your vibration. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to witness some of the lowest vibrations. And you already have witnessed a lot of low vibrations. So you don't necessarily have to look to raise your vibration that high when the vibration is low. And how do you sense a low vibration? You sense it. You know it. When the energy's off, when someone's talking off, you understand that. That's where the law of attraction comes from. But but when we go deeper and we go beyond like wishing for some stuff, we haven't reached. We don't even quite comprehend where we are going or where we could go when we begin to master ourselves. Have no idea. I'm taking a glance real quick. I was on my notes and I just love to take a glance at all the people in the room. Yes, thank you guys for communicating and talking and being a part. Yes, I did get a late start, but I know that one thing for sure is I wanted to be here, 100%, because this is a part of me. And as I begin to explore and communicate and talk about expanded consciousness, this month being kind of a remembrance month, it's been a full year since Bishop Carlton has transitioned. I got a treat for you. Um, I got a big treat for you. And I have to cut off my phone. I'll be getting phone calls. But this treat, let's see here. This is a cool treat. Let's look at something, guys. Let's look at some private footage that I have on my phone, nowhere else. Probably should one day put this together as something. But let's explore, and we're going to visit Bishop. The feeling is a secret, and we're going to shift our timelines, and we're going to shift who we are. Let's see here. All right. If this is going to work for me, this is going to be fun. I think it's going to let me do it. Perfect. All right, here we go. Okay, to share timeline, to share tab, to share. Hold on, I'm trying to figure this out. To share audio, share a tab. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. I thought this was going to work for me real easy. Here we go. Let's see. Well, I guess it's saying it won't share the audio. So I'm gonna have to figure out another way. To do this. It's a video that I have with Bishop. At first, I thought this was going to work, but it just told me that it's not going to work and share the audio with you. We can't watch it if we can't share the audio. 1 second here. Thanks for hanging along and sticking with me, because I'm gonna have to I have to log into the internet because it won't share the audio from my computer. Here we go. Hopefully we can this is a treat. That's the reason why I'm taking my this reason why it's worth taking my time to make this happen. Let's see here. I guess I could make it a favorite. Here we go. All right. We'll make it a favorite. And it should appear. Well, it's not showing the same thing. Hold on, bear with me. Here we go, Carlton Pearson. All right. We're going to now have to see where y'all went. I don't see you. Hold on. Where's my screen with my live? I got too many windows open. When you have too many windows open with this when you have too many windows open with the live, you can lose your live window. Oh, you see it? Just how this is happening right now with me, for instance. This is a good example where I'm shifted. Like literally, you can like I have a choice that I could get frustrated. I wouldn't be getting frustrated with anybody but myself, right? Um, I can get frustrated, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shift it and realize that I'm on here with my family. I'm on here with y'all, with the peoples. There we go. I found it. It's in the production window. There's I couldn't find where the production window was. So it told me to share a tab. And so that's what I'm doing. All right, watch this. You're going to like this. Look at this. This is pretty cool, guys. There's a particular one that I want you to see. There's some cool videos, and I have different ones archived. But there's one that I was like, oh man, that's going to be cool. I have to share that with everyone. Well, I thought it was in there. There's one there that looks like that was the same timeline. I had this queued up, but you know how it goes. It was a 13 minute. Oh man. I just saved it in there. Let's see. The way this StreamYard works is it won't let me play the video on my computer. The audio wasn't going to work. Come on now. Carlton. Not in the favorites. All these different albums. How do y'all organize all y'all stuff? At first, I thought it was this. I don't think it's this one. That's not the one that I wanted. Bishop had some great stuff to say, so I'm glad you're bearing with me. Carlton. No, we were at the kitchen table. together at the kitchen table about 2 years ago, maybe 3. I just had it on my screen. Y'all bearing with me? I hope so, because I'm not looking back at you right now. Wow. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it's in the Carlton video, but the timeline goes back. Yes, here we go. Huh. There we go. Sorry. All right. This is the video I want you to see. Let me move this over to make sure you guys are seeing it. Hold on real quick. 1 second. Here we go. Hold on real quick. All right. Hold on.
You just told me you're cold. So what should we do? Put on some heat or turn down the air? What do you think about what you feel? Our culture in general hasn't had a chance to tell you what we think. We only tell you what we feel. I'm hurting. I'm betrayed. I'm discriminated against. I'm deprived. I'm depraved. So so how does that make you feel? Or what do you think after you describe that feeling? Well, I think that they should treat me different. Instead of saying, I think that I need to change my attitude. We put all the blame on them and we can't affect them. We can only change how we look at things. As Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you
That's a little sweet.
Man, he's so cute.
when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. We're trying to help people change the way they look at things.
Change the way people look at things. So over the next, I like to do it like this, working on your brand over the next 10 years, really hitting it hard, putting you at 78.
I'll be 78.
Okay, so by 75, like, where do you see that with yourself in terms of, like, if you can act as though, or you can call it like, this is what it's going to be, what would that look like?
Well, the audience will be huge.
Okay.
I want influence. I
Okay.
don't just want to be a thought leader. I want to be an influencer. So I want to influence from politicians, and pastors, and preachers to police officers and school principals. Anybody that has influence with people, I want to have influence with.
What's that influence?
Influence the influencers.
Yes.
Help them change their thinking. The root cause of the torment, in my opinion, and the torture and the discomfort on the planet is misperceptions about God. If you think God can be angered or is angry, and you have to appease an angry God or please a difficult one that you cannot see and who knows your thoughts and motives, causes a kind of psychosis and a paranoia. Because we're taught that that the righteous shall barely, scarcely, almost not make it in. And most of us don't feel righteous. We don't even feel close to it. We feel repentant, but we don't feel righteous. So I'm coming for church without spot or blemish or wrinkle, any such thing. I'm holy, be that holy. That whole concept is so debilitating and so unachievable, except if you believe absolutely that Jesus paid it all. He did it all. He fixed it all. He's the only one good enough to be accepted. And God looks at us only through the eyes of Christ, or through the thighs of Christ, that we were birthed through him. Otherwise, our holiness, he even is quoted to have said, all your righteousness says are filthy rags. So what? And when he says except your righteousness exceed that of the Pharisees, who were total legalists, that whole scenario it isn't in the legalities, it's in the heart. What's in your spirit? That's the righteousness that you look for. So, but we're so confused because we think it is by works. You work and walk out your own salvation. I believe that part of it, but that doesn't give me approval with God. I'm walking out my salve, which is the root word for salvation, my healing. I'm getting anointment put on my soul. because it's bruised and injured and scarred. We're all suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome or disorder. We are stressed out from the time we move out of our mother's womb down the birth canal, all that screaming and noise, and then plop on our table, there's a bright light in us. We're traumatized because we've been in 9 months with no oxygen in the womb. And then suddenly we might have heard our dad say, "Why didn't you use protection?" Or the mother cries, "I thought I did." The baby's feeling all that energy of being unwanted or unwelcomed. It comes out being traumatized. Our prisons are full of people like that. Our insane asylums are full of people who never felt wanted or welcomed or worthy to be here. So,
What y'all think? The trauma that you actually can have from birth. No different than the trauma that you can have that's just built inside you. Some people call it ancestral trauma. We were in a meeting talking about the brand, talking about him. This is not anything. And I just happened to record it, not knowing, right, that this would be something that I would be playing right now. Let's continue. It's pretty good, huh?
I want to correct all that thinking, right? And religion pretty much makes you feel like a runt.
Yeah. So you have a process by which you're going to help people overcome that thinking.
Yes, and it's just like TV commercials. We spell words, but words also spell us or cast spells on us. That's what a spellbind is. You're enchanted. Enchant means to chant in here. Make America great again really means make America hate again legally. But because he said it, don't fake news. Don't trust the 700,000 people are dead because that man said, don't trust the science. Don't believe in global warming. Don't trust the news. It's all fake. Everybody's wrong but me and those who follow.
Weren't those people up to this point though? Wouldn't you say like it's not where we want people to be, but that's just kind of if they believe in I'd say it if they believe in like this grand rapture and the two-headed beast, then I mean, how hard is it to believe that Trump said whatever he says?
The absurdity of scripture, again, it goes to those who you can convince to believe absurdities, you can convince to commit atrocities. If you study the atrocious things, religion, especially the Abrahamic faiths, more Christianity and Islam than Judaism. Judaism is not an aggressive religion. All they want is property about the size of New Jersey to be their headquarters on the planet. We get everything else. They don't proselytize, they don't try to get people saved, they don't try to get people to do the Feast of the Passover or honor any of their festivals.
No, they don't.
Islam and Pentecostal Christianity are the two fastest growing religions on the planet. And they're both very competitive and they're very aggressive. And they both believe in a God they can anger. And that if they don't win others against spread their truth, that God will be angry with them. So the motivation is not love, it's fear. And if we have faith, our faith is primarily in our fears, which is God. Another name, when I say to my fundamentalist friends, do we need Jesus to protect us from God? It's like, that ain't what that's exactly what you got to have. You got Jesus. The reason we worship Jesus, and he never suggested that he said, follow him to his disciples. Listen to him. He never suggested or referred him to be worship. But we don't like God. We fear God. Nobody fears Jesus. We love Jesus. We write songs about Jesus because Jesus is either better at being God than God or a better God than God. So we prefer him because he's kinder and gentler. He protects us from his Father. Because the accuser of the brethren, or the accursed, Satan would accuse you of adultery, fornication, robbery, stealing, and God would believe the deceiver unless Jesus steps in and said, whoa, forget that accusation. I was wounded for their transgression. I was bruised for them. The chastisement for their peace is about me. Did you forget that? You can't take these people to hell. It's like God's, oh, you're right. Well, forgive them. Any other accusations? It makes God look like he would have agreed with the accuser, that they're in cahoots to kill us. So we need Jesus to protect us from God and the devil.
Mm.
All this through story and literature.
Folklore, what they call oral traditions, been handed down to us.
And then, but it's crazy because we can use satellites to communicate far distances. We can get into metal tubes and cross seas. But when it comes to the basic principles of just living life, and
Loving life.
it's insane.
It is. And we've made it difficult. That's why I like living near nature. When I can stand and watch these, I like that fountain. It's not going now, but I like to see that water moving. I like the trees. I like nature. It puts me close to the earth. I like the dust, the dirt.
Do you feel, as a prophet, a person that is bringing things of awe, is what I call it, versus God? It's
Well, there's the awesome God or the awful God. I'm trying to bring in the awesome God. I don't believe God is awful.
right.
But I've been teaching, I've been taught he is, and that I'm saying if you love God with all your heart, first of all, God loves you unconditionally. If you're the only person on earth who would have sent Jesus, and you say you don't believe that, then the tone changes. I just told you, doofus, that God loves you and gave his son to die for your sins. You don't believe that? And you say, dude, can I into that religious crap? Get out of my face.
Right.
My nostrils start to spread because now you're not just rejecting Jesus, you're rejecting me. So I got an attitude.
Get off my porch.
I just told you with your sorry ass, go on to hell. I didn't flip. I quit. Jesus loves you.
Oh, and that's how they just use it to really make you feel bad, and that's called conviction. And what's crazy is if you get 1 million people behind you, or you develop a church that has, thousands of people and millions of dollars, people will believe you.
Well, they believe Mormons. We believe Wiccan witches. We believe Hitlers, Hurtlers, and Hatlers. By nature, when the children of Israel said to God, they hadn't heard from God in 400 years, they're in Egypt. They're comfortable in slavery. And God shows up. They haven't heard much about and nothing from God, according to the letter, to the narrative, 400 years. And he shows up and turns their only source of water into blood, bathing, drinking, cooking, turns the Nile into blood. Then there's flies and lice and locusts, and then ultimately death. And everything is shaking. And they haven't seen from this the first time 400 years have passed. And suddenly, is this our God?
Mhm.
And he makes 2 million of them, tear down everything and move cattle, goats, sheep, everything out of Egypt. And 2 million people, approximately, trying to find a place to take a dump, set up fire and cook, and women.
That's such a story.
Yeah, 2 million of them. And then they wander. Initially, the trip from Egypt to the Promised Land was an 11 days journey on foot. It took them 40 years to make an 11 days journey.
They're like butterflies.
I like butterflies. Or fleas. They call themselves fleas. We're like fleas.
Because they had to procreate just to make it there for how many years?
So God said, I'm gonna let a whole generation of them die. The ones who don't remember me from Egypt. Let them die first.
Do you think I just see these stories, though, or these stories from these people and their stories? I mean, like,
well, if you study the Akkadian and Sumerian history,
yeah,
we don't know much about their language. There's one guy that in 1840 or 50 or something started studying their languages. You'll find out that the Christian story and the Moses, Noah, all that story are replicas and duplicates of story that were told thousands of years before.
oh, okay.
We created our own religion based on some of those things.
On those stories.
Mm-hmm. See, sunset and set, sun going down, sun coming up, sin and righteousness or unrighteousness, Horus and Horizon, that's the Egyptian god.
Oh, yeah.
Hour,
Yeah.
we get our word hour from Horus. Those are all sun gods. Venus, venereal, venerable bishop.
So we're tapping in. So for me, we're tapping into the next passing of the baton, and it can
A
hopefully
new
go
age.
on to thousands of years, just right. So that's Leo said, scribe. That's why I believe we're not just trying to change the internet in terms of putting you out there. What we put out there now is going to be saved from site after site. Every social media post will be saved. Now it's time for us to be very strategic in taking your voice and what you're saying and not getting the system confused and getting in tune or aligned. So whenever someone deep dives and they find something that they like that you had to say, that they'll find the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And then the system will automatically start linking them with other topics.
Well, see, evangelical Christians have
What's
dominated
the
media.
Oh, yeah.
You need to know. I think we have.
I never did know that out of this moment or many other moments that I was going to be the one, never had any intention on being one of the people that have been this close to him, that was working with him directly, not on my own stuff. I wasn't working on my own stuff in this regard. I was in a meeting with him, as you see, and we were talking about him, and we were talking about his heart and his message. And you are a part of that. And it has been 1 year since his transition. And here we are. Here I am. I guess considered carrying the message, carrying some of the expression and the feeling that he had, the reason why he wanted to do what he was doing. There's other times and moments that I have that I'll play, but I think I want to save some of them, like the podcast for over an hour of he and I in the studio having a conversation for about I think each session was over an hour for each session. And one thing I'll say is we had a lot of fun. But he was able to speak without any agenda per se. It was just us having a conversation. And I think it will be important to release that. But, part of me is like, I want to release that amongst this community. Because one of the things is that now I feel like it's not about us. It's not about just him and what his desires were, because I think his desires were met. And I think now it's like the message is more important than ever. Way more important than ever. As people continue and trying to make a decision on like who they are, but they're trying to make that decision where people are leaving churches in droves. And I just want you to understand that we have to pay attention to our feelings. The feelings is a frequency. Frequency is God, essentially, right? Tone, frequency. That is I would consider almost like a language. When we think don't get into your feelings, that's don't get into your emotions, right? Feelings are signals. It's like a guidepost. It's like something that actually can begin to heal you today. There's good feelings and bad feelings, but also separating the feeling from the emotion. And what I mean by that is if you smile, if you intentionally smile, you can actually begin to shift the way your body feels. You could begin to shift the whole entire energy, even if you're not happy. In the Qigong, yeah, which is Chinese, the energy ball. Imagine that there's energy, and you don't have to imagine it. You can rub your hands like this, really hard, not hard, but just fast, right? Clap them, rub them there, and just keep rubbing them like that, and they'll get warm. And that energy is called friction, right? That you'll feel that friction, and just keep rubbing them, right? But what happens is now all of a sudden, and this is part of the Rosacrucia also, there's energy exchange in between your hand. And if you sit there for a minute and you begin to roll like this, and you just kind of disconnect, you'll begin to feel it. See, I can feel it just now, right now. I can feel without touching, I can feel, so as you're doing this, right now, I can feel the energy. Literally, it feels like somebody is taking their finger and doing like this around there. Do this for a minute. And just keep doing it. Keep doing it, right? Take a deep breath. Hold it. Release. And just kind of put your hands together like this. And just roll in circle and roll back. Like circle and roll back. And just keep doing it. Don't try not to get close enough not to touch your hand. And just keep rolling. Now that I've done this with my kids and it's tripped them out, now the force field is getting bigger. It's like magnets. It feels like magnets where they're not attracting, but they pushing away from each other. That's the energy that's within us. If you learn to shift that energy, shift what's inside you. Yes, we know that there's crazy stuff that's going on in the world, but we're going to sit here and we're going to shift on purpose. And we're going to pull that energy up. There's a collective consciousness, and the collective consciousness is all of us right now that are in the sound of my voice. Soon it'll be more of us, because all of us are, I consider that who we are today are founding members of the expanded conscious community. And as founding partners, founding members, we may have a little bit of, what would I say, head start in the space of consciousness, in the space of expanded consciousness, in the space of, okay, I'm not just deconstructing, now I'm reconstructing, and now I'm not even worried about deconstructing or reconstructing. I'm just being, right? I might go through this or go through that. I might have to reconstruct this or deconstruct that, whether it's religion or it's finance, or whether it's what I believe about myself, what I believe about my health. I mean, if we're in a continuous contemplation, whether you acknowledge the collective consciousness or not, your energy contributes to the shared field of consciousness. If you're a symphony, and if you understand a symphony, where all individuals are playing an instrument, some instruments are playing harmonies, while other ones are playing off of the harmony. If there's one person that's out of tune, simple as a flute, You might not fully hear it, but you will feel it, right? Or you might hear it. And once you hear it, then you're going to feel it. Think about music. Dun, dun, dun. It's an energy. That means that somebody's going to come around, right? Even if you feel out of tune in your life right now, even if you don't feel up to your highest potential, even if you maybe feeling low, and I know that some people are feeling low. I know some people that are feeling happy. There's a lot of people that are excited in this hour. Outside of course, they're excited from the election, but it's interesting how I just notice how it shifts them, how it shifts them to feeling, and then how it shifts others to feeling lost. And this, especially when you think about, I read a story about someone that has been married to a man that's married to a guy. I've known this man for a little while, and he's probably in his 60s. And he talked about being gay in the 80s and how he's just tired. And right now, he just wanted to get off social media, and he was just tired um, of fighting, or tired of teaching and educating. And now my heart goes out to him, really does. And that's why us, as the expanded conscious community, we will need to raise our vibrations. I expect you guys to have the highest vibrations. Okay? We're going to have the highest vibrations. We're going to walk through and become, and we're not going to be shaken. We're going to raise our vibrations. And guess what? That's going to affect the entire symphony. Expanded consciousness is realizing that you're not isolated. Every thought, every feeling, every vibration you emit ripples outward. Influencing not only yourself, but also your surroundings and the collective consciousness. So when you choose to love in the face of frustration, gratitude when you lack, when the feeling is lacking, right? You're not just helping yourself. You're lifting the entire vibration of the whole. Intentional living, even in a bad mood, it's okay. It's okay to feel off and have bad moods, but just remember to breathe. Shift the energy. Shift the energy, right? That's a process. And sometimes we feel like, we want to go through it. We should go through it. We have to go through it, and we have to experience it. But I'm here to tell you, I think, yes, I believe that you will. I believe there are things that can happen psychologically, but I think also you can be a psychological phenomenon. At the quantum physics level, that's where we understand that everything is energy. Particles respond to the observation, intention, and the vibration. This means that the universe is not static. It's moving, right? Your feelings as a vibration. interact with this energetic field from the quantum field, right? You're shifting that. So when you actually shifting and everything I'm talking about, when you like shifting and you're smiling, right? You're getting involved in quantum level things. You're even changing your cells. You're changing your cells. You're changing the vibration around you. That's where you begin to really get into levels of manifestation. That's in the quantum field. That's in the beyond belief, and it's hard to grasp it, but it all begins just with a slight shift. But that slight shift also leads to what we call as heart coherence. You may have heard about this, but the Heart Institute, I think there was a statistic, the Heart Institute has shown that the heart emits an electromagnetic field 5,000 times greater than the brain. So when you feel love and gratitude, appreciation, this field also becomes like more harmony. It's coherent. It doesn't just benefit your body, but also it influences the energy around you. Remember the rubbing up here, right? Sometime I'll do in circle. You'll begin to feel it. You could practice that. You could practice shifting your energy, feeling your energy, right? Creating the energy. And then you practice breathing in the energy. Taking a deep breath and releasing, breathing in the energy. One of the things I researched is the neuroplasticity, which is basically talking about that your brain doesn't passively reflect your emotions. And the brain can rewire itself in response, right? So when you choose to do this, this is actually changing your brain, and it is actually renewing, it's actually creating new pathways. Synapses is creating new pathways. So this meditation and you raising the vibration is not woo-woo. It's a real thing. I'll show you this video with Carlton. And the influence I think that he really wanted is what I'm talking about. He didn't go that in depth. He'd done his job. Now it's your turn. One of my favorite people, Dr. David Hawkins, Levels of Consciousness, is one of his claim to fames. Letting Go is one of his books. I've listened to a lot of his lectures. But Dr. David Hawkins created the scale of consciousness, and using muscle testing, which is a whole nother conversation. But the levels of consciousness in the emotions, guilt, fear, anger, or shame, we know that those are lower levels of frequencies. Number one thing, spiritual autonomy, right? Got that. Earlier, I talked to you and I said something about body, mind. Then I said emotion, spirit, consciousness, right? And then you got feelings that go along with that. And feelings is an energy that you can shift, right? You could shift those feelings. Feelings is something you can shift based on your emotions, and you can push your emotions, that which involves your body and your mind. So if you don't begin to change your mind, you're not going to change your spirit, because your mind is in control of it is like in control of your spirit until you can actually think about it. When people get excited and they go into, let's say, praise dancing, that's their mind, right? Affecting their body, affecting their emotion. And they'll tell you all day, that's my spirit, and that's the Holy Spirit, and that's the movement of the Spirit. How often do you see a person get really hit by something deeply, deeply spiritual. Like, because to me, that emotion would lay you out flat on your back. Flat on your back. That's where I think we like to go, right? But guilt, fear, shame, anger, those are lower vibrations. Love, peace, joy, those are higher vibrations. Science has shown that higher vibrations can improve our immunity. It can improve our mental clarity. It can improve our whole entire life. So we're not just talking about woo-woo stuff. We're not just talking about meditation and going into the spiritual spaces that we all love. We're talking about shifting physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, consciously. That's what we're talking about, shifting. These are some, I would say, some of the teachings and things that we're going to be able to do more together and have more feedback. I promise you, you'll know a whole lot this month, given the fact that it's like, for me, this transition period, going through all we went through, and just the fact that it's like, oh my God, we're doing this. Having gratitude, realize that these emotions, right, lead to other keywords. So that emotion, if you want to raise your vibration, have gratitude. How do you have gratitude? Gratitude is the feeling of being thankful. Even on like really hard days, one small thing you can do is just be thankful and you can breathe. Breath is spirit. You get in exchange for that breath and for that oxygen molecule that you want, right? You're going to give away something. It's carbon, something that's toxic for you, but the planet loves it. The trees love it. And the trees say, yes, thank you. We're going to give you oxygen. Have gratitude for that. Gratitude is one of the number one things that can rewire your brain. And that is just feeling of thankfulness. If you really want to get the best part of what you can feel today, even if you are one of the people that are super down, hit it with some gratitude. Rewire your brain, begin to shift it. Have gratitude. Be thankful just for life. You can't shift me. You can't shift me. I'm going to have gratitude. That gratitude that's being mindful and having a mindful presence, that I'm aware of who I am, where I am, why I am. And I'm going to have a mindful presence, right, of who I am and what this moment is, and whether it's the callings or gifts or your beliefs, what are you doing? And what you're going to be doing is shifting. And you're going to be shifting, you're going to shift your emotions, right? So when you get a chance to dance, when you get a chance to sing, when you get a chance to to intentionally shift, do it daily. Put it in your schedule. That's why I think it's important with us with community, because we got to be held accountable, right? And soon we'll be able to have training so that we can teach other people how to do this, how they can, and this stuff right here change your life. You need a job, you can get a job. You need a car, you can get a car. Yeah, it'll start changing your physical reality. And if you don't need that stuff and you want your relationship better, you're gonna be able to shift who you are, right? Having the creative expressions of being able to go out and connect There's been some videos I show myself, going out and I'm dancing. I'm raising that's a higher vibration. Staying connected in community, connecting to us, connecting to others, right? That isn't, it's like, that is what, can you imagine the church wouldn't be the church if the church didn't have each other? It wouldn't be the same if they didn't have each other. So the world needs love. And we're going to bring it. And we're bringing it. Your superpower, the greatest gift that you have, is knowing that you can shift. Not only that you can shift, but you could begin to reshape the reality of what you're living. And just imagine all of us that are in this space, and we've talked about deconstructing, and that's just basically re-examining our lives and what we were told, and the book of what the book itself, and then also exploring and realizing that we can explore other spaces. And the other thing too is that we can understand that the body, mind, emotions, and spirit can, having a spiritual autonomy means that, an independence means that I have the ability to analyze, review, to look and say, I believe Christ. If I want to go down that, um, rabbit hole for me. But if I want to go down, not down, but if I want to go to that space, because I don't want to call it down, but if you want to go, if that's where you coming from, that God, Jesus paid it all, and that means that, I don't need to, in simple terms, I don't need to do everything that you tell me I need to do. And yet, though, I still want to do that thing. I still want to do the church thing the same way. So be it. But I'm here to tell you, raising that consciousness, realizing, waking up, understanding that there is more. And we are powerful beings, very powerful beings. And we're going to begin to understand and realize and come into a higher connection of understanding. Last thing, what I mean by that is this. If I was to take individual from 100, 200, let's say, if I was to take an individual from the special time that people talk about, which was 2,500 years ago, roughly, I guess, with, Jesus and the stories of the Bible. And I was to put them into this space today, their consciousness, the way that their mind works, the way that their brain would work, right? The way that would try to comprehend this world, you have no idea how complex or how mind-boggling it would be to see me talking to this camera, or how mind-boggling it would see you load up your dishwasher. Mind-boggling. It was so mind-boggling that I think they could actually lose their mind, because it just, how is this working? How is this functioning? That's the thing about expanded consciousness. That's how the people may be feeling whenever they are in the constructs of the church, in the constructs of life. They may be feeling that way, feeling like, I don't know, y'all, I just can't do it. I'm not feeling it, and you're wrong. And you know what? So be it. So be it. I'll be wrong. I'll be wrong. But I have spiritual independence. I have the ability to question my beliefs and question why I believe what I believe. and ask, how do those beliefs, how do what I believe add to who I am? If it's not adding to who you are and adding to your life, most likely you're in a guilt, shame, fear, and you just don't know any better. I'm here to tell you it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. If you're willing to open up, learn, explore, and become beyond what you know. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that has stuck with this and with me for the better half of the year. Going on a year roughly. As far as his transition, I've been doing it with him beforehand, but just be by myself. It'd be a year roughly February. Yeah, February. When Bishop T.E. Pope began to build up the foundation, right? Which I am excited for them and what they have going on. I think it's a good work and it's a good thing. Go ahead and just take a deep breath if you can. Breathe deep as you can, pulling all that, your breath up, pulling it up into your chest. Release. Do it again. Breathe in your stomach. Breathe in your chest. Release. Let's go again. Follow me. This time, breathe deep and hold it. Release slowly. Push it all out. Push it all. Just breathe in normal. Thank you. You can only do your best. That's it. You can only do your best if you're willing to do your best. Sometimes you just give it all you got. You just give it all you got. Sometimes you may not have a lot to give. But just breathe with me. There's healing in this space. When healing happens, it's an agreement from the person that you may be with. And I'm agreeing this moment that the healing that you seek is here. I want you to witness and feel a transfer of energy and healing take place, whatever that is. If you are having some significant or some light form of pain in your body, I'm going to ask that you close your eyes. I want you to go to where that pain is. This time, I want you to breathe in your nose and then open up your mouth. Release. I'm going to focus on wherever that is. It could be you don't find it. It could be that you're just not finding it. It was there. It could be gone. But this is shifting. And if you don't have any form of pain, I ask that you push out the love, gratitude to the room and to the space. Push it out. The feeling is the secret. So no matter what, when you go to bed this evening, make sure you smile. Make sure you stand right before your bed. I want you to imagine that you are before your bed. But when you get to your bed, I want you to throw off like that. Literally. Make a physical move to throw off any part of the day, any negative energy. Say, thank you for this day. And shall I have a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous, and amazing sleep. Just by committing to that. It's part of the shift. So, I will have the space and the place during next week for you to go and sign up. I'll post it on my Facebook. Then by next Thursday, it will be an official release. That's the week Bishop transitioned. But it'll be official release. And we will have our first Zoom call. And on that Zoom call, I want to consider anybody that are part of the first official release. Consider founding members. And I think it's cool to be part of that. I think everybody that's a part of that deserves to be uplifted. You'll be part of the founding group. And I think it'll mean a lot because we'll have a chance to come together and a chance to grow together, because I want everybody to grow. I don't want it to be just, I'm sorry, but I just don't want it to be a normal situation where it's like a church. And you just come there just to hear. That's great. If you want to do that, that's fine. This is the time for us to participate. Time for us to participate and grow and learn. I think I want to help some of us become coaches. Miss Gwen, thank you so much. Everybody, you see that picture there? Take a deep breath. Focus on the heart. Focus on the heart. 5,000 times the power looking at Miss Gwen's picture. May she have the most beautiful, wonderful sleep and most beautiful day. May her body be healed. Thank you for that her body is healed. And I know she is also feeling that too. I love you people. I love you, Miss Gwen. One day we shall meet. Have a good evening, Miss Gwen. Thank you, guys. I know there's 12 of us in here. That's beautiful. I know I started late. A lot of contemplation going on over here, but I know I'm committed, deeply committed. Miss Deidre, thank you. We need to get on the phone because, I want to hear your voice. You are already a founding member because you have really, truly helped and contributed, and that works and that helps. And but there's going to be so much I want to offer, and I'm out there. I'm out there, man. I got some videos and some powerful stuff that I know for a fact will help us change our lives. Thank you, Miss Gwen. There you guys go. Just in case you're on Facebook, she left a message there for us. Beautiful. I appreciate you guys. And I look forward to really, really growing together. And Bishop it was his desire, it was his dream. It was his desire. He said, you heard it. He wants to influence people to love themselves, learn and grow. Bishop wanted. And we have that opportunity. Right? Everybody feel good this evening? Well, I truly, truly, truly hope so. Miss Gwen, thank you so much. Miss Gwen sent $20, and I appreciate it. If you guys get a chance and you go back and review and look at some messages and things, I think it's beautiful. Y'all feeling good? Yes, you feel relaxed. Good. That relaxation is key. It's really big to feel relaxed. Relaxation is key, right? If you can go into any relaxed state, it's always big to go into a relaxed state. All right, Mrs. Mother White. Everybody breathing deep. Sending that heart energy to Miss Mother White. I ran into her this past week, I think. Maybe it was last weekend. I can't remember, but I know she was out and about, and I was meeting with a friend, and she flagged me down. That was a joy in the middle of the road. That was a joy. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna let y'all get. I know it's late on the East Coast. Miss Gwen just sent money. Anyone that has ever donated right now is just going to my Cash App, but anyone that, and it helps with a lot of stuff. And what I want to do, because I'm working my way hardcore into doing this full time. Nothing but this, focus on this. And anyone that does anything, right? You'll automatically be included for sure on the first month. So there'd be a lot of offerings, and not offerings as in things that I will offer as a community. But the first thing I want to do is just bring us together as a strong community and let you know what's available and how it's going to happen and what we'll have, and then we'll grow from there. Um, Really, I would love to be starting some institute stuff um, in this coming spring. Miss Dorothy's gonna have to stay on me. Um, and I plan to get some people pre exposed to a lot of this new stuff that happened, and that's something a little different. You don't person won't have to join that because that'll be different, right? But much love, much love. I love that last statement there, where energy flows, attention goes. Where attention goes, energy flows, right? Where energy goes, where attention goes, energy flows. Yes, focus that attention, right? Do not focus on anything you do not want. Yes, 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 yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Miss Dorothy, thank you so much. Look at that. Everybody see that picture? Ooh, that is such a beautiful picture. You know, I was talking so much trash. Like whenever she was on the show a few times, I'm like, listen, I need you to change. I need a headshot. Because that headshot you sent me was kind of old. And look at this. Look, she's trying to get she really trying to get kicked up out of somebody's church. Love you guys. Love you. Hopefully I gotta check my StreamYard. Something was wrong, but love y'all. I'll be back next week. For sure, for sure. Y'all have a wonderful and beautiful evening. Bye bye.